For the past pretty well half century, Carl Weathers has been a recurrent character actor on numerous movies and TV shows, especially the Happy Gilmore and The Mandalorian. But when he played Apollo Creed on the Rocky series, he became a household name. Handsome guy, very personable, very sexy, playing kind of that Ali type character in contrast to Sylvester Stallone's Rocky made him so much money. I think he can go any place and not have to pay, and people would pay to have him sign something. But did you know that Carl pretty well had a big influence on the CFL, or the Canadian Football League, in the early 1970s? And you're saying to yourself, the CFL, or if you're American, what's the CFL? Well, the Canadian Football League drew a lot of interest from American athletes, especially in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. Joe Theismann played with Toronto after his career with Notre Dame before he went to the Redskins. Swervin Mervin Fernandez, Warren Moon, Dieter Brock, different players. Now, Carl had been a top-flight athlete since his time in high school. Now he grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, and as an 8th grade student he earned an athletic scholarship to St. Augustine High School, which was a private school. He was an all-around athlete, involved in boxing, of course, football, gymnastics, judo, soccer, and wrestling. Now he eventually graduated in 1966. Now, when Weathers started his college career, he primarily was in football. He was a defensive end. He started his college career in 1966 at Long Beach City College, where he did not play in 66 due to an ankle injury suffered when he tripped over a curb surrounding the running track while warming up for practice with under linebacker Paul Snow. He then transferred and played for San Diego State, becoming a letterman for the San Diego State Aztecs in 68 and 69, playing for legendary head coach Don Coryell of the Don Coryell San Diego Chargers heavy offense. Now, after he went undrafted, he signed with the Oakland Raiders as a free agent in 1970. Now playing as a linebacker, Weathers played 7 games for the Raiders in 1970, helping them win the AFC West Division title, on their way to the first ever AFC Championship game, and he also played 1 game in 71. Now, the Raiders released Weathers in 71, and he signed with the BC Lions of the CFL that season, and that's where the story becomes legendary. Now, according to published reports, Jim Proudfoot especially did a story on it in August of 79, the great Toronto Star writer. He came to Canada already partially known as a model, or what do you call it, ad model. Now, he had played linebacker in Oakland, pretty well the same position in Canada. And Bobby Ackles, the GM of the BC team, talked about the fact after he was cut by the Raiders because of recurrent injuries, and when he came to BC, he said that Weathers came to us late in 71 after Oakland cut him, finished that season here and was a starting linebacker all through 1972. He said he was eventually released before the 73 schedule opened because he had difficulty with injuries. He was an absolutely outstanding football player, Ackles said, but always hurt, it seemed. He always had some little thing wrong with him, and that's why he was dropped. You never knew whether he'd be able to play or not. Now, Ackles said he was a famous guy when we got him. He'd done a lot of modeling, and the face was familiar from various national ads, which I have seen. Like I said, a very sweet-looking man. He also used to play the guitar and sing, and I can remember he used to attend tennis at Joe Cap's nightclub, the former CFL star. Now, Ackles said, I guess we did him a favor by sending him down the road because he went from our training camp right into acting. I'm always seeing him on television and in movies. As good as a linebacker as he was, I think he's a better actor. And of course, Proudfoot said the paychecks are better as well. Now, when he started his acting career. He was playing an extra, like Ackles has said, while playing football. His first big roles were in blaxploitation films, including Bucktown and Friday Foster, and also an episode of Good Times. He also was on Starsky and Hutch, which was kind of his TV break, and he was also on Barnaby Jones as well, so which led to Apollo Creed. So it's very interesting how life goes. By the way, The Rock also played CFL football. Sorry, I forgot to mention Lex Luger, a few others. But what I find strange about Carl, it wasn't that he couldn't play, but the fact that it was, if you had recurrent injuries, CFL, you were called, what they called to the mark, and you had to play because the limited roster. And how it works in CFL with the U.S. import, if you could find a Canadian player, they could do it. He could stay longer because you're only allowed so many players. But Carl, I think that again, that ankle injury that he suffered, we talked about that, kind of contributed to other factors. But Carl, like I said, very, very in shape guy. If anybody has seen the Rocky fights, you know, he's your prototypical linebacker size. Like I said, very, very wiry, great movement. And you know something? He probably could have still played football as his acting career really came to full force, but you know, much more money playing what do you call a fictional part than a non-fiction part on the field where you can be injured in one play and lose all your future drawing power. I think he made the right decision. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our latest of our kind of CFL podcast we do on a regular basis. If you like what we're doing here, we're a vintage sports file podcast. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you see Carl Weathers in your travels, maybe ask him how come he wasn't selected for a real CFL football card from the 1972 OPG set. I'm showing you a mock one, but he should have been in that set. That's a legendary football card set in Canada because it has, Peter Dallariva, Joe Theismann, Tony Gabriel, all the key players. Check it out. It's very similar to the 72 Topps NFL set. Same configuration of photos. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.